Preparing a buyer for the process. There's a lot that goes into preparation when we talk about readying a buyer for the process of purchasing real estate, right? So many of you will go through attributes of the transaction and the process around what comes first, what comes next. You're going to talk about things of do's and don'ts, right? Aspects of like, don't take out financing, don't go buy a new car, do these things, etc. But there are a few really important attributes within the transaction that I always believe agents should be preparing for. And we teach this a lot in negotiation environments. It falls under the conflict theory of framing and ensuring that we can kind of rid our transaction of potential conflict with our clients. And so during this preparation, one of the most important attributes is that you want to think about what are the normal surprises that really aren't surprises to you, but that are surprises to a client, right? When they have expectations that they're going to go out and see property, if those expectations aren't met, those expectations that don't get met lead to anger, frustration, upset, etc. And so we want to constantly be looking down the road and saying, okay, what are my major conflict environments? What are the things that always cause upset? And let's go ahead and talk to our clients about them way in advance. It will help prepare them for those situations later on. So the very first place that I want to talk about is I want to talk about just the aspect of showing property. What can happen when you're showing property, the fact that properties can cancel the minute we're showing up in the driveway. Really talk about some of the upsets and disappointments that buyers can have during that process. Because then when those things do occur, you're a lot less likely to lose the trust of that particular client. They'll still be disappointed, but it'll be something at least they say, oh, my agent at least did talk to me about and tell me that this is going to happen. The other thing I always want to talk to about a buyer is I like to put buyers through tests, right? I think it's very important that the very first time I find out that a buyer isn't going to go with my particular analytical advice on the marketplace, it shouldn't be when we're live making the offer, right? Like, test them, say, here's a property, here's the comparables, here's my analysis. If this was the property that you were going to purchase today, what would be the offer price, right? Find out early kind of how your buyer or buyers start to process data and information. Put them through like mock scenarios. You can do this while you're showing property. You can do this while you're out and about. These things don't have to be additional appointments, but these are great preparation pieces, not only for you as an agent, but for your client to ready them for environments of purchase, especially guys in markets where we have multiple offer situations or where it can be a really kind of tedious or lengthy process to win a home. Last but certainly not least on this list that I'm going to talk about today is inspections. We talk a lot about inspection negotiation, but the first time a buyer sees an inspection report should not be the one on their house. Should not be on the house that they're purchasing, right? So making sure a buyer sees an inspection actual report, sees what it can look like, sees the verbiage, sees some of these CYA things that are, recommends additional inspections, or here's the laundry list of things that an inspector has recommended, be shown attention in the house, and then talk about what was actually done on that inspection to achieve those things, which kinds of things were just normal wear and tear items that are going to be on every inspection and which ones were actual asks, helps a buyer prepare for that environment so that when they actually see their own home inspection, you're not now trying to tell them what's normal, which is going to come off as a sales pitch. In fact, it's going to come off in a sales pitch in the manner that you just want me to say yes to this because you want to earn a commission type situation. It'll look like real advice. So whenever we want to give somebody advisement, understand that the time to give advisement is before a situation occurs, not while necessarily a situation occurs, especially when we are in a commission-only type element. When it comes time to showing that mock inspection report, I've done it a couple different ways. I've done it where it's been a few days before the actual live inspection, in which I can then cover and say, hey, so we've got inspection on Thursday, and here are a couple things that I want you to know about the inspection, and this is a great time for you to review a mock inspection report. So you can see what an inspection report looks like. You can kind of see the length of it. You can see the final overview sheet that talks about all of the adjustments or attention that inspector wanted to call to that buyer's concern. And then I can talk to them about what were normal wear and tears. And again, what things we would ask for and how we would negotiate those items. I've also seen this, there'll be a lesson in teaching piece. If you've been showing property to a buyer for 3 months and the process is feeling lengthy and long and there's just a lot of property to get to, or there's not a lot of property to get to and so it's just taking a long time, this is a great education piece to throw in earlier in the transaction cycle, earlier in your relationship where, again, that Saturday then doesn't just serve as going to see 3 properties, it's serving to go see 3 properties and I'm teaching you something while we're out. So lots of different flexibility with it, lots of different ways I've seen agents utilize it, but it shouldn't be something that you miss.